Good afternoon. Thank you, faculty, staff, and fellow graduates of the class of 2012 for being here today. We've spent 4 long, arduous years together learning the art of medicine, and I cannot convey how grateful I am for being allowed to provide some closing remarks to our medical school journey. Anticipatory guidance. As a soon-to-be pediatrician, I have grown to appreciate the term anticipatory guidance. For those who are unfamiliar, anticipatory guidance is a large part of the pediatrician's job. It's the responsibility of the pediatrician to warn parents of all of the dangers of childhood. For example, it's the pediatrician's job to tell a new parent that, no, it isn't safe for the baby to ride on the back of the motorcycle. Or, no, actually, a curling iron is not a safe toy for a baby. Anticipatory guidance is really just being prepared for or anticipating the silly decisions people could and often do make, and preventing or guiding people from making those decisions. If you think about it, graduation speeches are really just fancy forms of anticipatory guidance. So today, I'm going to give you some thoughts to prevent you from making silly decisions in your future. I'm going to give you some advice for the next step in your medical careers. I'm going to give you some prescriptions for life. You're probably thinking, he has no more of a clue of what to expect than I do. Which is true. So I'm going to use some timeless prescriptions made by some famous physicians of the past. The thing is, these physicians didn't go to medical school. They're all very famous kinda doctors, of whom you should all know, and they all have some very good thoughts on how you should proceed with life after medical school. The first prescription comes from one very beloved character who walks with a cane. His name is Gregory House, Dr. Gregory House. Okay, House is not beloved. In fact, he's one of those guys you love to hate. That's why, as you can imagine, it was so hard to find these inspirational words of guidance. You can think I'm wrong, but that's no reason to quit thinking. This is the first prescription that I call CME, Continue Medical Education. As physicians, we will be required to complete CME credits. And in part, that's what this prescription is about. But it's more than that. As House said, you can think I'm wrong, but that's no reason to quit thinking. Whether you know 100% of everything, or you know absolutely nothing, it's important to not quit thinking. When you think another person's idea might be wrong, that's no reason to quit thinking. Don't just surrender and go down the path of least resistance. Don't quit thinking. If you know the attending won't listen to what you say, as I'm sure some of you have experienced, that's no reason to quit thinking. In the same token, if you know there's no possible way you could be wrong, that's still no reason to quit thinking, because you could always be wrong. Don't stop questioning, don't stop discovering, don't stop exploring. As a doctor, I challenge you to always know more. And tomorrow, when we are done and graduated, stay excited about learning. We may be getting our terminal degree, but that is no reason to quit thinking. The second prescription comes from a very popular medical comedy called Scrubs. It was spoken by a very stern older physician, Dr. Bob Kelso, to a young patient who was about to have surgery. He said, "Life is scary. Get used to it. There's no magical fixes. It's all up to you. So get up off your keister, get out of here, and start doing the work. Nothing in this world that's worth having comes easy." This comes to the second prescription. Life is scary. Get used to it. Many times in medical school, we all face situations where we were uncomfortable and frightened, like the first time you sutured, or the first time you started an IV. You could not succeed in medical school if you did not face your fears head on. Instead of being stopped by your fears, choose to face them full force. Instead of being limited by your comfort zone, choose to redefine the boundaries of your comfort. Life is scary. Get used to it. Nothing in this world that's worth having comes easy. And hey, you may find out that you enjoyed doing what scared you the most. As the great doctor Doogie Howser once wrote in his journal, the best success is usually the one you risk the most to achieve. But sometimes, just taking the risk is its own reward. Take some risks. Challenge yourself. Be spontaneous. Do something that scares you every once in a while. Who knows? It may change your life. The third prescription will be a challenge for some of you. It comes from the words of a famous fictional surgeon at Seattle Grace Hospital, Dr. Meredith Grey from the TV show Grey's Anatomy. In one of her popular voiceovers, we hear Dr. Grey say, "I've heard that it's possible to grow up. I've just never met anyone who's actually done it." Without parents, we break the rules. We throw tantrums. We whisper secrets. We look for comfort where we can find it. And we hope. Against all logic, against all experience, like children, we never give up hope. The third prescription is never give up hope. Wow, in medical school, it seems like we've learned everything, about everything, which of course included morbidity and mortality. We learned chances of survival after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. At first, it all seemed like numbers on a PowerPoint slide, but when you think about it, those numbers are really lives, cut short by disease. A person had to die to get that percentage. In medical school, we are taught to rely on evidence-based medicine, which is awesome, but the problem is sometimes the evidence drowns out the hope. I challenge you as a doctor to not become jaded by the grim numbers, but to maintain faith in something greater than yourselves, be it God or something else, something that is ultimately in control. Think about it this way. Impossible is not the same as hopeless. Something may be impossible, but that does not mean you should quit hoping for the possibility of it. There is always hope. I'm not telling you to sugarcoat serious matters. People often grip to the only shred of hope there is. People will die, but there is still always hope. Hope for a life after death. Hope for peace in loss. Hope for comfort for the hurting. This may be hard for some of you to do, but all I'm saying is, even if you don't tell anybody, even if it's just in your head or your heart, even if you know all evidence says differently, please never give up hope. The next prescription comes from an older fake physician of the Korean War era. You guys may know this guy. Dr. Hawkeye Pierce of MASH fame. He said, "I'm very impressed now with the terrible fragility of the human body and the unbelievable resiliency of the human spirit. Nourish the spirit is the fourth prescription." This prescription is best illustrated by a story. By now, some of you have probably seen the YouTube video entitled, "Old Man in Nursing Home Reacts to Hearing Music from His Era." In this 6-minute and 30-second video, you watch an old man with dementia go from near speechless with unintelligible mumbles to clearly talking and singing, not from the aid of any medication, but solely with a set of earphones playing music from the time he grew up. It's a heartwarming, heart-wrenching glimpse at the destructive power of dementia and the restorative power that comes not from medicine, but from nourishing the spirit. I was able to witness this in person with my grandfather. In the last years of his life, my family helplessly watched as my once strong, independent, and stern but loving man withered away into a weak, dependent, and still loving but confused old man. But like the man in the video, once he heard music, new life renewed to him. His eyes brightened and he started to sing along, like he had many times before in his youth. In addition to medicine, nourish the spirit. The human body is fragile, but the human spirit is resilient. Nourish the spirit with music, books, art, with singing, dancing, laughing, with people you love, your close friends, your families. Nourish the spirit with faith, prayer, meditation, a belief in something greater than this world alone has to offer. Being a DO means you treat with more than medicine. You treat the whole body. I believe that includes treating the spirit. The final prescription comes not from a fictional character like the others. Instead, this man was a real person. And although he was not technically a real doctor, there are stories of him doing a lot of healing. This man was known by many names, and one of them was the great physician. This man was Jesus Christ. Now hold on. I know not everyone in here is Christian or is religious or believes in God or believes in Jesus. I refer to Jesus in this context solely as a great teacher, along the lines of Moses, Confucius, Socrates, Buddha, or Muhammad. In the Bible, the book of Matthew, chapter 25, starting at verse 35, Jesus said, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." The last prescription is, be of service. If you're like me, you came into medical school to help people. Please never forget that. As we become better at our jobs, get more responsibility, get more power when it comes to making decisions, I'm afraid to say it may become easy to lose sight of what brought most of us into this great profession, the desire to help people. No job is too menial when it comes to taking care of a person. Be of service. Help where you can. Care where you can. Don't become entitled or conceited. Be of service. Lend a hand to those who need. Humble yourselves. Be of service. Okay, folks, those are the famous physicians and their prescriptions for life. Continue medical education. Life is scary. Get used to it. Never give up hope. Nourish the spirit and be of service. Take them or leave them. I'm not worried about you guys. Through the last 4 years, I've been nothing but amazed by the capacity you all maintain. Your capacity for strength through troubled times, like the death of a loved one, the destruction caused by disease, the challenge of med school, and for a few of you, the force of an F5 tornado. I'm amazed by your capacity for knowledge. I couldn't be prouder to be associated with such a fine class of individuals. Lastly, I'm amazed by your capacity to care. We've been through a lot together, and through it all, we stuck together. We made friends we will never lose, and memories we will never forget. Thank you, class of 2012, and God bless.